Welcome into this Monday edition Blue Sky Live here with you today. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford studio on this holiday. I didn't realize it was a holiday till like 20 minutes ago, but either way, it is. We will hit three main topics today. Ole Miss basketball falls 81-71 game, really not even that close, in Oxford over the weekend against the Mississippi State Bulldogs, falling to 8-5 in the SEC. Bye week up next for the Rebels. Ole Miss baseball goes 2-1 in Arlington. I was there to watch that. A couple run rules in both directions, and then a win over Arizona to open the season on Friday. Also, Ross Dellinger with his normal news around college football. Looks like a college football format change, playoff format change coming very, very soon. We'll go over a little bit of that late in the show as well. So those things and more coming up on today. Blue Sky locations all over the state of Mississippi, up and down I-55, throughout North Mississippi as well. You got Sweet Eddie's locations at most of those stops, ribs, pulled pork, side items, and plenty more. Lunch specials, you know the drill by now. So again, all those options, Blue Skies, including Oxford, again, coming to you in the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900's the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest's up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do. Let's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit CampbellClinicOxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
Blake asking what time I got back last night around, 12:45, 1 a.m., something like that. I told Neal before the show, I've never had this happen. We got delayed about 30 minutes because they didn't have hotels for the flight crew at the place we were going, so in Memphis. So he said that their companies were working on it and they were not going to push back until those reservations were made. So we just kind of hung out for a little while. But he made up some time. It was scheduled to be about an hour and 35-minute flight, and he did it in an hour or two. So I was impressed with some of the.
I wouldn't want to be dropped off in Memphis without a reservation.
Oh no! It's
I
get
fairness. There's places that I wouldn't mind getting. It's places that would be safer than others. That would not be one.
I gotta scrap some Ubers, figure it out.
The Memphis airport, no,
not the play.
No.
So yeah,
sorry for all the Memphis defenders. But no.
Yeah. So we got it accomplished. Got back. Plane was 90%. It was the Ole Miss team, and then mostly Ole Miss people that have been in Dallas for the most part on that flight back. I've normally flown into Love every time, so I'm not overly familiar with DFW. So I sort of, as soon as I got done with the press conference or the media stuff last night, I went ahead and got to the airport and just picked a restaurant to write and kill time at for a couple hours, and thought that was better than staying at the ballpark and then trying to figure it out and get on with it. So it all worked out. ContentRebelgrove.com. We'll get into baseball here in a little bit, but yeah, I don't know, 12:45, 1, something like that. A little tired, but it's all right. We will press on. Not the worst thing. So I caught snippets of the basketball game. Obviously, I was a couple hours out from my baseball game. I watched some of it on television. I've talked to some people. I had one buddy who goes to most games say he thought the first 8 minutes were about as electric as the pavilion has been at times, or early on from an environment standpoint. Again, I didn't see it, wasn't there.
And that is my weak spot.
Just kind of setting it up. But I guess we're going to get into Beard, his reaction, kind of what goes on next. But to start off, talk to me like I'm 5 a little bit. What happened?
I mean, look, State's good. That's number one. They have a good team. They're very well coached. They have a lot of what I think is balance in their team. Beard referenced that later. They have a team that fits. Frankly, I often find Hubbard to be the weak link on that team. He wasn't a factor Saturday. They attack. They're what basically happened was Ole Miss's offense got bogged down. And they got into a little bit of foul trouble because they foul a lot. They've gotten where they reach a lot. They've been doing this for a few games in a row. They've gotten away with it some.
Is that tired?
I don't know. They say they're not tired. I mean, probably not tired. 2 games a week?
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay.
But they're not deep. They don't have a deep team. They've got 7.5 to 8 guys that play. He forced some minutes or tries to get some minutes out of guys that just aren't ready. They didn't shoot it particularly well. They haven't shot it particularly well in a while. And they just don't have they don't have that. I've said this a few times. It's broken record stuff, and I apologize. But if you're listening every day, thank you. They don't have that guy you can go to just get you a bucket. We need a bucket. Let's go get a bucket. And so State was really well prepared, and Ole Miss had a really bad close to the first half.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then, in the second half, Ole Miss got it within 4. And then State made plays, and Ole Miss made bonehead plays. They got killed on the glass. The number came out like as State was up plus 12. It felt bigger than that. The turnovers were even. That's not the recipe for Ole Miss to win. They just didn't play well, and they talked about complacency. I don't know. I'm not. So I have a couple of this. I'll tell this to people. So there was. I'm not a person that's going to write about. I don't like the Q word.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the Q word because I don't know that you quit. I don't know that, and I don't like writing about effort because you write about effort and you ask about effort, and then someone tells you, "Yeah, the flu bug went through the team. Somebody's sister died. Something happened." I don't do that. So there was a lot of talk about effort, and I just kind of don't go there. Now, after the game, players talked about it, about complacency, and Jalen Murray referenced thinking that it would be easy. I thought Sean Padula's answer was enlightening because I agreed with it, that while everybody was celebrating the win at LSU and the win at South Carolina, you can't ignore the fact that those 2 games were very nearly losses. And you can do the whole thing about, oh, boy, it's winning on the road in the SEC. Yeah, but they didn't play particularly well.
Mm-mm.
And so it caught up with them. I don't know whether they got a little full of themselves. Had someone tell me that. I can't speak to that. I'm not at practice. We haven't had a media opportunity outside of a post game in almost a month. I don't know. Talking to people that are around the program, they'll tell you that they think that some guys started reading their press clippings a little bit. They're human. They know what everybody says. Hey, you've punched your ticket. You've got this net. You're projected here. State had not played particularly great basketball coming into that game. That game was circled. They were ready for it. And then what's interesting in these games, and this is my transfer portal take. People like what they like, but the environment in the arena is a lot more tense than the environment on the floor. The people in the arena, that rivalry, it matters. Ole Miss people can tell me it doesn't matter. It matters. I watch them. I just sort of look around dispassionately and see it. I mean, people are pretty fired up for that game. And yet on the court, it's just another game. And I think that's probably one of the things that appeared to frustrate Beard, is that was a message that they had tried to get across to players that, hey, this game means something. This game's different. And I don't think that message resonated. If it did, it didn't come to fruition in their effort, in their passion level. It was just another game. And I think I wrote about this in 10 Weekend Thoughts, which is up at rebelgrove.com. I do think that's one of the things that you lose with all of the transfer portal stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Is, guys, how can that game mean a lot to you when last year you were at UNC Wilmington and next year you're not going to be at Ole Miss? When last year you were at Virginia Tech and next year you're going to be at Ole Miss? I'm not just picking on those 2 guys. Just in general, how can it can't really mean much to you. You can't force that. So, State played the game a lot more aggressively than Ole Miss did. State got downhill. They got to the free throw line. Yet, I didn't think. Did I think the game was well officiated? No, I can't tell you the last time I watched many college games that I thought were particularly well officiated. It's one of probably the negatives for me, where I watch a lot of NBA and you see this vast difference in officiating. But I didn't think the game. I didn't think there was an unfair whistle. I thought one team played with more aggression, and usually the team that gets downhill is going to draw fouls.
So, as you said, Ole Miss didn't have a lead after 3 minutes and change in the first half. Did cut it to 4 in the second half. They got down by, what was the largest, 18, 20?
19.
19? Okay.
Yeah,
close enough. You back to 10 on the final, and then afterwards, you wrote about it. Beard, very frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times after losses, we get no players. They suddenly – so State came in. The storm was coming through. It was about to get nasty, and State was in a hurry to get out. And I don't blame them, because they were trying to get ahead of the storm.
Yeah.
Hopefully they did, and from all accounts, they got back safely. Chris Jans came in, probably spoke for 4 minutes. No players.
They were trying to go.
And they were trying to go, yeah, because they were referencing this. The storm was coming, and they were going east.
So they could get out of it if they could go.
If they get going, they could kind of get ahead of it. And then all of a sudden, he finishes, and I expected just Chris. And all of a sudden, they're setting up all these chairs. And I kind of knew at that point what was coming. There's some stuff that happened that I'm not going to discuss here that was indicative of kind of what was coming. And I think Beard wanted guys to face the music. And I don't know, I think he wanted a lot of tough questions asked. And there were some tough questions asked. But again, I'm trying to how deep I want to go into this. I'm not going to ask emotional questions, because I'm not emotional. And most of the guys that are on the beat we ask some questions. There was some stuff about, but I'm not going to ask about effort unless a player tells me we didn't play as hard as they did. And then they kind of said that, and so it's like, why? And I don't know, be an interesting week for them. This will be an interesting week for them, because Saturday will be not about wins and losses. It will be interesting to watch the way they play Saturday at Vanderbilt, because I anticipate this will be an unpleasant week of. I don't mean like he's going to run them to death or all that, but I think this is. I wrote that. I think it's a pivot point. It's a pivot point. Because look, if you play like that in a tournament setting where you're kind of passive and you're not locked in, you're going to lose. That's the lesson. I think the lesson for them was, you beat LSU barely, literally on the last tenth of a second. You win at South Carolina, who hasn't won a game, and that game was super close. You trailed late. Those aren't tournament teams. Mississippi State's a tournament team. And if you don't bring it against the tournament team, you're probably going to lose.
RoboGrove.com. Again, read, watch, but for the sake of the podcast, what did Beard contribute it to?
I don't think he knew the answer. I think he was baffled. I think that's why he sent the players in to get questioned. Maybe he wanted to hear what they said. When he was told that the word complacency came up, I think he was shocked. Like, what are you complacent about? You've won 8 games in the SEC. You didn't clinch anything. You're not a Auburn or Alabama right now.
You don't have a double bye. I mean, yeah. It's not.
How can you be complacent? I think he had told them all week, hey, they're going to play. They're going to bring it. And they did. Chris James is a really good coach. That is a very talented team. I love watching Cameron Matthews play. Kugel is as nice a shooter as there is in the league. They're good. I think they're a good team. I've been saying it all year. I got ridiculed for it earlier. I'm not predicting Mississippi State to the Final Four or any of that. But they're a good team. They're a capable team. If you told me Mississippi State made the Sweet 16 with the right draw, I'm not shocked. I'm just not. And so people can attack me on that. I'm fine. My DMs are open. Go for it. But I like their team. And you have to play well to beat teams like that. And you have to play engaged. I think that was the part that he was probably most surprised by, is that his team was not as engaged as State was.
So when you have bye weeks, we talk about it in football all the time, how you come out of them, what the tenor of the situation is when you go into them. And like you said, maybe, pivot point one way or the other, see what they come out of it. There's definitely things they have to improve on moving forward to do any kind of damage in the tournament whatsoever. It also is one game. I mean, what is the balance of not letting one game become huge because you played really poorly for one day versus otherwise?
Yeah.
I mean, there is a bit of a yin and
Yeah.
yang that goes on here in some ways.
I don't think it's anything more than one game, one way or the other. I mean, if they go on some wild winning streak, I'm not going to go, oh, see, there was the moment. Nah, it doesn't work like that. In the same way, if they don't win another game, I'm not going to go, boy, that lost.
That sunk them. That was it.
No, not that. It's just it was a game. You got to learn from it. You've got big games coming up. They're going to the NCAA tournament. You got big games coming up. You got games against teams that need to beat you. Vanderbilt's going to need a win on Saturday. Vanderbilt would feel a lot better about its situation if they beat you on Saturday than if they lose to you on Saturday. So they're probably going to show. They've been good at home. No one's beating Auburn. Florida did it. Duke did it. Those are 2 1 seeds. If you're counting on a win at Neville Arena, you're an idiot. Oklahoma looks pretty wounded.
Yeah.
That's probably one you need to get.
And then play your rock fight against Tennessee and see what happens.
It's going to be you'll have to bring your A game to beat the Vols. You can do it. They've lost some games. It's winnable. I don't know what the Ken Palm numbers are, but you'll have to play well. And then look, Florida right now is outside of Auburn and Duke might be the best team in the country. And it's down there and senior day, and Micah Hangloten is back, thank God, because that was a nasty broken leg last year in Nashville. And it's great to see him be able to get back on the floor. The schedule's tough the rest of the way. And that was a game, in a lot of ways that if you'd won it, you'd give yourself a little breathing room and a little confidence. But maybe this was a wake-up call. Maybe this was hey, we haven't done anything yet. And when you get to the tournament, again, you're going to play good teams and you're going to play hungry teams. And I think one of the words Chris Beard used the other night was that his team wasn't hungry. And State was. State wanted that game. It was very clear, beyond rivalry, State wanted that game. And Chris Jans talked about how he thought that Ole Miss had been playing better than they had been playing coming into that game, and this was a game that they were concerned about. They knew they'd have to bring a lot of effort and a lot of intensity, and I did think they played really hard.
You mentioned it. Ken Palm has Ole Miss 55% at Vanderbilt, 11% at Auburn, 75% at home to Oklahoma, 41% at home to Tennessee, and 18% on the road in Gainesville.
About right.
21-10, 10-8.
Yeah, so when I say Saturday in Nashville's a big game, I don't mean outcome. But I will be curious to see how hard they play. My guess is that they play really hard. I mean, it's an older team. It's a mature team. They took a lot of responsibility on Saturday. And I'm sure that the tenor of practice is going to be different. I don't mean look, you can't go out and beat each other up. That won't work. They're not a deep enough team to do that. But I'm sure that there's going to be a lot more focus. Maybe that's the right word. They weren't. State was the more focused team on Saturday. And I don't think Ole Miss is talented enough to win a lot of games against the bulk of the league when they're not focused. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're talented enough. I mean, they have gotten
a lot of juice.
19-7, 8-5 out of this group. I would argue that they've overachieved. Mm-hmm. Other people are free to disagree. You're free to have a completely different opinion. It's fine. That's my opinion, is that they've gotten a lot out of this group.
Yeah. We will look at Vanderbilt and around the league in a second. When we come back, we'll tell you when it comes to making the best hamburgers around the basics matter. And Wendy's, well, they've really got those burger basics on lock. And boy, does it show. So what's the secret to all those hot and juicy hamburgers? Simple. They craft their hamburgers with that fresh, never frozen beef they're famous for. The result, hot and juicy beef hamburger perfection every time. No matter which hamburger you order from Wendy's menu, you already know that thanks to those Wendy's burger basics, it's going to be exactly what you're craving. And as long as you crave is hot and juicy hamburgers, a hamburger made fresh just for you, not waiting for you. After all, the perfect burger doesn't spend its time waiting around. So when you want a hot and juicy hamburger made fresh and just for you, it's got to be Wendy's. Fresh is kind of their thing. Go to Wendy's and taste the difference in a hamburger.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. What do you want your 2025 story to be in 2025? Maybe you're ready for a plot twist. Maybe there's a part of your story you've been wanting to revise. Life isn't about resolutions that fade by February. It's about picking up the pen and becoming the author of your own life. Think of therapy as your editorial partner, helping you write new chapters and create the meaningful story you deserve to live. I've benefited from therapy in my life. It gave me the tools to deal with dark thoughts and anxiety, put past failures in context. Therapy empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving more than 5 million people worldwide. Access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. Easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. So write your story with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/MPW today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MPW. We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern, 662-429-4429. Basketball content is up from Saturday night. It's brought to you by Window Hero. From window cleaning to pressure washing, gutter cleaning, gutter guards, and everything in between, Window Hero has the experience, equipment, and expertise to make your property look and feel brand new. If you're in North Mississippi, let Window Hero make your home or business's exterior look amazing. Give them a call at 662-510-7077. Go to windowhero.com. I mentioned 10 Weekend Thoughts. They're brought to you by Andrew Seago, Seago Wealth Management. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with the personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Seago, Seago Wealth Management, specializes in folks just like you. Come up with your retirement game plan, whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere. Schedule a free discovery meeting. See what he can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. And we're brought to you by Arnett's Fine Jewelry. They're a fourth-generation jeweler located in the old Lamons building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They offer expert jewelry repair, diamond engagement rings, wedding bands, stackable diamonds, basically anything you're looking for in jewelry. They've got it. It's great for gifts, flexible bangles, diamond pendants, and more. At Arnett's, they want to be your jeweler.
AnySpark, the fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available. Whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends, they offer both residential and business packages with speeds of 2 gigabits to earn more. Register for service. That's AnySpark.com. AnySpark, get connected, stay local. So looking around the SEC for the weekend, the big 1-2 matchup in Tuscaloosa. Auburn kind of dominated throughout. Alabama made some mini runs, but it never felt like Auburn was losing that basketball game on Saturday in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I got to the arena early and worked on 10 Weekend Thoughts. I was trying to make myself be efficient.
They got up 10 or almost 10 in the first 5-6 minutes. They led by 9 at the break. Went even in the second half, but it just never there was never the big run by Bama. Sears played out of control most of the day. I thought he was almost too hyped up, just couldn't. He was dribbling the ball off his foot at times, turning it over.
That happens.
Their ball movement did not look like typical Nate Oates Alabama ball movement when you look at it.
Auburn's really good. I think people are struggling with the people. I hear a lot of the narratives, a lot of the they talk about Auburn does this, Auburn does that. A lot of the stuff like the interaction with the fan and all of that stuff, and it distracts from a basic thing. They're really good. They've lost twice this year. They lost at Duke.
Game they easily could have won.
And they lost to Florida at home. And Florida right now is a 1 seed. Duke is a 1 seed. The two teams they have lost to are 1 seeds. They have not lost to and really haven't flirted with much other than maybe a little bit with that South Carolina game. But that's it. They really haven't flirted with losing. They are really, really, really good. They are a title contending type team.
They are now 11-1 in the SEC. Bama 10-2. So again,
14 quad 1 wins.
Is that what it is?
Yes. I mean, they do everything well. They don't have, like, past Auburn teams to me felt like they had a weakness. I'm not saying this team is like just a rolling ball of butcher knives. They're beatable. Two teams have beaten them. But they don't have this glaring weakness that you can just go attack. Kind of have a little bit of everything. And they have a lot of shooters, a lot of dudes who can really lock you down defensively. They've got the bigs that are skilled. I mean, Broom is a leading candidate for Player of the Year. They're really good. They're well coached. They've got guys that have been together for a while. They've got the continuity that they're loaded.
Yeah, I mean, their Ken Palm numbers the rest of the way: 94, 94, 89, 68, 66, 81 percentages.
Yeah, who's the 66?
At A&M.
Yeah, okay.
One out of three.
I'd pick Auburn in that game, yeah. But, yeah, A&M's really good. Well-coached team. Wade Taylor IV is just a stud.
Florida just sort of methodically handled South Carolina on Saturday in Gainesville, 88-67 over the Gamecocks. South Carolina, as you mentioned, 0-12 now in the SEC, 10-15 overall. Florida 9-3 in the league, 23-3 overall. Yeah. So they have not lost a non-con game. The game of the day, I mean, we mentioned Vanderbilt. They continue to play incredibly hard. He's done a hell of a job. Yeah. They gave Tennessee all they wanted in Knoxville on Saturday. They had a huge lead at the break. They were up 13. And Tennessee just sort of chipped away and chipped away and chipped away and chipped away in the second half, and it'd get to 8 and 6 and then 7 and 5, and it just kind of was a staircase all the way down. Vanderbilt had a 3 to win it late. Tennessee hit a couple foul shots, and 81-76. The Vols over the Commodores. So Vanderbilt, as you mentioned, 5-7 in the SEC right now for them. 17-8 overall. Tennessee 21-5, 8-5. As we've been telling you for a couple weeks, Vanderbilt's in this ridiculously difficult second half stretch. So no free outs for the Commodores.
No, they're at Kentucky and home against Ole Miss on Saturday. And if you don't think they'll have Ole Miss circled as a game, you're out of your mind.
Yeah,
Saturday will be fascinating.
Arkansas played well, but Texas A&M was just better in College Station on Saturday. 69-61. The Aggies over the Razorbacks. 15-10, 4-8. I guess they're lingering. But you got to win some basketball.
They had a quick little stretch. It was 50-50, and out of a timeout, Buzz Williams threw a different looking zone at Arkansas. It threw them off. They ended up taking 2 or 3 bad shots, and then A&M made buckets on their end, and suddenly it was an 8-9 point game, and that was that. I'm impressed by Texas A&M. Have been all year. I've said that all along. I mean, Calipari, what he said after the game is exactly right. I mean, his team's not playing bad, but they're going to have to start playing with some urgency.
Texas A&M got good news from a bracket standpoint on Saturday when the committee released their current top 16 overall seeds. A&M at 6 overall right now on the number. So
I mean, their net's like an 11.
Yeah, they are 20-5, 9-3.
Yeah,
in the SEC. Texas 82-78 over Kentucky. Kentucky is down to their 3rd or 4th string point guard at this point because the kid that played against Ole Miss got hurt. Butler's still out, and the 2nd string kid's been out the entire year. So I think they were on a 4th string point guard against Texas on Saturday.
I don't hate Vandy at Kentucky.
Yeah, they're just so banged
I don't know
up.
If it's Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever, but I don't hate it.
I mean, they're running their offense through the post because they don't have a point right now. 82-78. Kentucky 17-8, 6-6. Texas 16-10, 5-8. They needed it badly, and they did get it there at home for the Longhorns. And then tough, kind of bad game for Mike White and the Bulldogs.
They're done.
Yeah, they They were up 3 at the break, and then I don't know what the run was, but Missouri outscored them by 16 in the second half on the road. It was in Athens.
Yeah.
And
I didn't see it. I didn't get back from the arena till
it was kind of on, and I'll see scores, and you went, "Woof, that's not good at all." So yeah, I think we can go ahead and put the line through the Bulldogs and mark them off the page.
I think
it's over.
I think Georgia and Oklahoma are both off the lines now.
Speaking of, LSU picks up a road conference win over the Oklahoma Sooners on Saturday. That's the night game. LSU 13-12, 2-10 now. Oklahoma 16-9, 3-9. I mean, they're only one up on LSU.
If you've been watching LSU, this should not surprise you.
They
play really hard. Really hard. They're well coached and they play really hard. There's no quit in them at all. They've had a handful of games that they almost won. I know almost doesn't count, but this should surprise no one. It's a monstrous loss for OU though. I mean, where this is going to be difficult for Porter Moser to survive it.
They've got an interesting athletic department year and a half coming up.
Yeah.
This football being weird at best right now.
Yeah.
Don't really look ready for the league. And
people will tell you they weren't ready for the league. They were hoping to go one more year in the Big 12. Texas was ready. We're ready to let's do this. We're tired. We're tired of this Big 12. I mean, Texas was traveling around like the Great Satan, and they were sick of it. I don't blame them. I mean, they were like, we carried this league forever, and now you're losing your mind that we're leaving. Oklahoma was not quite ready.
And Oklahoma took Texas was trying to figure out how to compete. And we're going over here to do whatever. And Oklahoma sort of took hey, we're just kind of glad y'all took us for a little while. I mean, even their marketing was sort of that way.
Yeah.
We're going to go around all the different places and say hi and thanks, cool, sweet.
Yeah.
Here's some candy canes. So, I don't know, strange. Tuesday night, one really good game potentially, but two sort of duds in different ways. Oklahoma's at Florida on Tuesday. Okay. Congratulations.
Good luck.
Yeah.
You'll need it.
And then your nightcap. That's at 6. 8 o'clock on the doubleheader is South Carolina at LSU. Okay, great.
Sure.
Whatever. Carolina has a chance to win a basketball game. But at 6 on SEC Network, you got the Aggies in Starkville, A&M, Mississippi State on Tuesday night. So you got that one coming up. Again, State now 6-6 in the SEC, and then it's an off day for Ole Miss. But the 3 games on Wednesday, so it's an off day for 4 teams because we only got 6 total games.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's at Kentucky, as you mentioned, on Wednesday night.
Yep.
Arkansas.
That should be a really interesting game.
Arkansas is at Auburn. The schedule is just beating cow to death right now because there's just not much you can do.
Well, they lost those 2 games they shouldn't have lost. Yeah. That's what's killing them. They lost at home to Oklahoma, and they lost at LSU. If you give them those 2 games, they're fine.
6-6.
They're fine. They'd be more than fine. As it stands, after Auburn, they have a bunch of very winnable games, and they're going to have to go win them.
And then complete free shot from the Missouri Tigers. They've got the Crimson Tide in their building on Wednesday night.
Yeah, total free shot.
Try to get a win.
Don't count them out.
Oh, no.
They're playing really well.
I'm not.
They're a good team.
It's not time to.
They can shoot it. They play very well in their building. Have some size. Alabama's going to have to pick themselves back up because they got super hyped for Auburn.
Looking ahead to Saturday, just quickly, we got all week to talk about this, but we were discussing Arkansas. I think they've got to beat Missouri in their own building on Saturday.
Yeah,
that's a must win.
I mean, assuming that a loss to Auburn, and I do, they've got to. They'll have 4 left. They've got to win at least 3 of the 4.
11 a.m. ESPN's your best game of the day on Saturday. Tennessee's at Texas A&M. That is your.
That's a great game.
Yeah, that's your best game. There's some duds on Saturday, but we'll get to that later. Got a few minutes in this segment. We'll talk a little baseball. I still want to get to the college football playoff stuff today a little bit. That Dellinger set up. I'll probably go into tomorrow, but he wrote it in a way that he was being careful with a bunch of allegedlys and sources, and this is maybe, but it looked like it was pretty much damn done outside of a couple opinions. So we'll get to that in a second. And I'm not going to make a ton out of 3 baseball games. I'll just give you guys a quick overview, and then we'll move on. 2-1 in Arlington. That's a success in every way. I don't care what scores are. Going 2-1 in that tournament. to start the year is notable, and that does the job heading into the home opener Tuesday, Arkansas State, weather dependent, and then this weekend Eastern Kentucky at home Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Um, 4 teams went 2-1 in this tournament. Nobody went 3-0. Ole Miss, Clemson, Texas, and Oklahoma. No. Ole Miss, Texas, Louisville, and Clemson went 2-1. Oklahoma State went 1-2, and Arizona went 0-3 in the field. Arizona is better than they played 2 of the days, but I do think they're the weakest team in the field. I was not very impressed with them whatsoever. And for Ole Miss, I thought a couple things are notable as they're trying to turn this thing around and find a way back to the postseason. Is winning a game you needed to win on Friday with the textbook way you were doing it. Hunter Elliott came back and looked very good. He was sharp. He threw a shutout performance over 5 innings, I think. I don't know, whatever you're doing. I'm sorry, it's slipped my mind a little bit. But whatever it went, he was very good. He threw a shutout. He actually looked stuff-wise better than as a freshman. I thought the velo was ticked up. The changeup looked just as good. He was excellent. They bridged to Mason Morris, who did a nice job, got out of a jam, gave him multiple innings, and then Connor Spencer got a little dicey for a second, but finished it off. He had 1-2 counts on 2 straight batters, walked both of them, but then did get out of it to beat Arizona 2-1. And that's sort of their textbook way to win a game with Elliott pitching. And I thought pulling that off and getting the W was notable. Also, your easiest game of the weekend, so get a win, get off on some momentum. And on Saturday, they played a horrific baseball game in all ways against Texas. They had a miscommunication in the outfield that contributed greatly to the 7-run inning that Texas put up in the 4th. Texas run rules them 10-0. They went 2 for 21 against left-handed pitching on Saturday. The Luke Harrison kid had never thrown more than 3 innings in his life. He had come off Tommy John, and he pitched 71 pitches over 6 1/3 innings of baseball against Ole Miss. Ole Miss only had 2 hits. They helped him out by swinging out of the zone. They didn't barrel up balls in the zone or mistakes. It was a rough game. And through 2 games of the weekend, I think Ole Miss was 1 or 2 for 20 with runners on base. Really bad offensively. And then it's what you like about baseball is one day later, completely different. You get a chance to correct your eels. Mike did some nice things with the lineup on Sunday, gave some energy with it. Hayden Federico, who I really, really like as a freshman for the West Monroe product. He was the West Monroe quarterback, played a couple different sports there for them. He had a big day. He had 3 hits. Luke Keel had 2 home runs and a triple. Ole Miss hit 4 home runs at a team and just bashed Clemson. And it's more than just the runs scored or what they did. It's how they did it and what the matchup was. Because what we don't know about this team, or one of the biggest question marks going into the year, is how they hit left-handed pitching. And Justin Legernick, the starter for Clemson, is a very difficult guy to square up because he's a sidearm left-hander that throws 90 to 92, and he's got one of these big sweepers. You usually beat him by letting him sort of walk you because while it's hard to hit, it's also hard to control the way he pitches. So he throws a lot of balls out of the strike zone. And they didn't chase anything. They hit mistakes. They hit balls that were, over the middle or outside the other way. They pulled the problems up in the zone. I mean, it was kind of your perfect offensive day for Ole Miss. They raced out to an 8-run lead by the 4th, and they end up run ruling them 15-5 over 7 innings. It was a nice offensive day. They got stuff from everybody. Top 4 in their order had 12 RBIs. Bottom 4 in their order had a bunch of sacrifices and walks and hit by pitches. It was kind of the way you'd want to construct an order. Luke Chang in the 9-hole really impressed me. He was excellent defensively. They turned a double play that got him out of a jam early that did matter a little bit. And then his 4 at-bats were walk, hit by pitch, sack bunt, sack fly to give you quality at-bats out of the 9-hole. He's not going to hit 380, but if he does that kind of thing, that's good. And then on the mound, Maddox ran into a ton of problems on Saturday. Nichols was just okay on Sunday. The good news for Ole Miss was Will McCausland on Sunday. He's a St. Joseph's transfer. Had a career 5.09 ERA in the A10 coming to Ole Miss out of the portal. I know message board and a lot of fans were questioning that decision. Joel Mangrum liked the makeup, the new pitching coach for Ole Miss. Thought that there was some bones there that you could work with. Was really impressed with his walk strikeout percentage at St. Joe's. Thought that there was some tweaks And he was excellent yesterday. He was really, really good. He mowed down the Tigers over 3 1/3, 3 2/3, whatever it was. He had a cutter, he had a fastball, he had a curveball. Had some competitiveness to him. He was good. I was really impressed with him as we move forward. And talked to Mike after the game, and it's sort of, Mike Bianco. I've covered him for a long time. You're 20 on the beat, and he doesn't like talking about failure much. He's never really done that. He's kind of stayed away from that. He's always wanted to stay positive or upbeat, or kind of, and sometimes in the past years bristled almost at let's talk about the problems. And he was talking to some fans on Saturday. He went and did a little meet and greet thing for the game, and he said we weren't very good the last 2 years. I mean, we talked about, hey, we had to build this team. He was discussing that they were bad and had problems and kind of what they were doing to try to fix it. And it was a very real human conversation that I haven't necessarily heard him talk publicly a ton about. And he even sort of did it after yesterday's game, because you get the canned quotes from all these media members that are just around, and they go, hey, Mike, what'd you learn this weekend about your team? And he's going, it's 3 games. I don't know. And he has no answer, but he stopped himself and he goes, that we bounced back today. We haven't done that. He goes, the last 2 years, we just simply didn't fight back. When we had a bad game, it bled into 2 and 3. And he said, these guys are older, and when we put the roster together, we wanted an old team that had some resilience about them. Mm-hmm. They played a ton of college baseball, and they realized one game's one game, and you saw that today. He's like, so I'm really happy with that. He goes, now, what does it mean on the diamond? I don't know. But he said the makeup of them looks like you hoped it would look like. And I think that's relevant. I think that's a big deal, because look, Texas had the most fans there. You had the second most fans there. It was Globe Life is a cavernous park, and even if it's 5,000 people, it's still only 5,000 people in this thing that seats tens of thousands or whatever it is. Frankly, I don't really like the park very much. It's just kind of dark and big to me.
I've never been there.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. And the press level is on like the 12th deck. I mean, if you have a fear of heights, don't go there as a writing press member, because you kind of look over like I'm going to die. It's very high, but that was a rattling experience on Saturday for them, because there was a lot of Texas people, and it's just a rout, and it's ugly. It's a rough day.
And they're good.
They're good. No, Texas is good. Yeah. And then you're coming back the next day. You're playing who is the best team in the field. I know you beat them 15-5. It's going to be a good win on your resume, but Clemson is the most complete team in that field. And just kind of got after them. Had a lot of confidence. Had some swagger to them. They had a lot of energy. Frankly, had more energy than Clemson did. And I thought, look, to Mike's credit, he always gets asked by people, hey, is this a moment? And you go, I don't know till the future. He's always said that. It's the perfect truth. You have no clue. But
not on February the 16th.
No chance. Yeah. But if it says anything about your identity, then that's a good thing for Ole Miss.
Yes.
Forward. So, good trip.
Yes. I mean, I would agree with that. The ability to, hey, it's baseball. And in the SEC, you're going to play 30 games. And the odds are overwhelming that at some point in those 30 games, you're going to get just your skull bashed in. Mm-hmm. It's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
To everybody. And your ability to go, okay, it was just one game, move to the next game, is pretty critical in that sport.
Yes, Walker Hooks, the freshman, was really good on Saturday. I kind of forgot that. He did give some relief innings once it was out of hand. Congratulations to Judd Utermark for hitting one of the hardest balls I've seen hit in my life yesterday. His home run to left field went 450 feet and 116.8 miles an hour. It was impressive to watch in the moment. Clemson pulled off the hidden ball trick yesterday for an out. That was fun, I guess. I thought they called time, because the kid slid into third, and one of the umpires actually did come in from left field and kind of throw his hands up. But time was never granted, I guess, in the infield, because I asked Mike after the game, I was like, hey, what resets live play? Because the pitcher never got back to the rubber, and what kind of does it? And he said, no. He goes, I asked, and they said they never actually killed it at all.
No.
So, okay. And he didn't complain, so he obviously felt fine about it in the moment, other than his guy getting picked off third on a hidden ball trick. But either way, Hunter was 91 to 93 and hit a 4 in the first and the second, and then he settled in around 89, 91 the rest of the time. The changeup was 77 to 80, something like that. He was mostly a 2-pitch mix. Mike also said that their non-conference tournament next year will be back in Houston. They're going to Minute Maid, or what's it called? Daikon now?
I don't know.
I think it's Daikon Park. they're going back there for the first time since 2017, and then that they will also be coming back to Arlington in the next 2, 3, 4 years. That they're about to sign a contract to do another one. He's very impressed with the way they structure the event and have support and run it. He told me last night, we were talking for a few minutes before we got on the plane because the team was on the same plane. He said that it's the best run non-conference tournament that they have been in Arlington, that they really support it. It doesn't feel like you're just renting the field,
Right.
like, some places might.
Yeah.
At that point.
Good programs there, all that stuff. It's early in the season.
Which attracts good programs. When you run it well, they go, hey, yeah, we'll go do that.
Well, and it's weather. You don't have to worry about playing 30-something degrees.
Because it sucked in Dallas. It was 32 degrees, 33 degrees.
Yeah. Makes sense. I mean, I doubt if who went 1 and 2?
Oklahoma State.
They're probably still feeling okay about everything.
Yeah. Arizona might not. Because they got run ruled by Louisville and they got run ruled by Clemson. And then they just couldn't hit Ole Miss at all. And
probably not the best flight back to Tucson.
No, they played Clemson and gave up 7 in the first and 8 in the ninth.
Oh.
So that's not – I guess they technically didn't get run ruled. They just got beat by more than 10 runs. I apologize. But either way. Last thing, I would not have slept at all. As we were walking on, Mike last night drinking a large Americano with 2 shots. At like 9:30.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have slept through Thursday. I mean, no shot.
I can't really. I've had people ask me why on McCready and Siskey I don't drink a rain. It's not because I don't like rain. It's because if I drink a rain at 2:00 in the afternoon, I'm not going to I'm not going to be able to sleep at the time that I would like to go to sleep.
My heart rate kind of even like goes up if I have it later in the day a little bit. Like I sort of feel jittery.
Yeah, I don't get that. I just can't sleep, and I like sleeping.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll move on now. I'll tell you the Citizens Bank, not just an account number, a valued member of the community. Now, if you find yourself in the market for a mortgage, another reason to give them a try with Wilson, BB in the mortgage space. Now at the Citizens Bank, ready to help you with your real estate goals. 902 Sisk Avenue, Suite E, to discuss your options with Witt or any of their bankers. Your success is their top priority. And while you're in there, ask about the School Spirit debit cards. They donate an amount per every transaction to the school of your choice, Oxford, Lafayette, or Regents. The Citizens Bank, PHILA.com. I'll get that in a second.
Oh, okay. We're brought to you by Argent Wealth, I should say. Maybe health too, because if you're handling your wealth, it's going to make you feel better. Argent Wealth, based in Ridgeland, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Argent, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Argent will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's myargentwealth.com. We're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows him to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits, simply not available to other travelers. Get in touch with John and let him help you plan a special trip that creates a lifetime of unique memories. Just give him some parameters, give him a budget, and he'll find options for you that you probably won't find on your own. 901-494-3387 or JEdwards@regencytravel.net. Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com. Are you a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify? Either way, Andy Ludicky can help. He's a longtime Rivals board member, franchise veteran. He owns multiple franchises and businesses. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy. Put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. Nothing to lose. It's myperfectfranchise.net. Andy at myperfectfranchise.net or 404-973-9901.
Ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes so you can feel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. Lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor Keto meals based on a randomized controlled clinical trial with Factor Keto. Results will vary depending on diet and exercise with 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week. Easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. Choose from preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. They can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfast, grab-and-go snacks, and more add-ons to reach your goal this year with ingredients you can trust and convenience that can't be beat. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use code FactorPodcast to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code FactorPodcast at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. We had a friend mention it a couple days ago, eating Factor all the time to help out throughout the day. So, let's see. It's mostly in on baseball. Again, 3 games. They play Arkansas State on Tuesday. Again, weather depending. It looks like it's just cold. I don't think we're gonna get rained or snowed or iced out on Tuesday night, but it does look incredibly frigid. So, yay. That looks like a blast. Nothing like a February Tuesday game. I know Neal's looking at me going, it's February, dumbass.
Yeah, it's cold in February.
Well, the baseball season's in February. It sucks. Just like the soccer season sucks in December and January or whenever it.
There's a way to rationally fix that, but we choose not to.
Well, the whole baseball draft thing and all that,
Yeah.
it gets complicated.
That's what it is.
I haven't looked around the league at all, but I'm assuming maybe they won the next 2 games and they look like world beaters doing it. But I saw on opening day, Missouri baseball lost to Penn State 10-0. That feels like a negative for the Tigers.
They don't
season.
care. They don't. They're not invested in it. They've paid. Don't get in trouble.
They're actually better than you would think, given that they don't care. Like, they're okay at times.
Sure.
Like, they find some pitchers out of that St. Louis, Kansas City area, and like they can have some studs. I mean, Kyle Gibson, Aaron Crow.
Mm-hmm.
They've had some dudes, but just kind of scanning the box scores and went, ooh, it's not ideal.
I'm not sure in today's era that they're going to be able to do it like that.
Worse.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, we talked about several weeks ago.
You probably won't be able to keep those guys unless they're just so pitching for the love of the team. You'll run into that sometimes. Some kid just loves the school so much that he doesn't care. It's pretty rare.
Yeah. Finds a social circle, girlfriend, whatever, and no, I'm good. But, the hundreds of thousands of dollars and things, they play into this too from time to time.
As a rule.
So have you read this Dellinger thing?
I glanced through it. Your
eyes are glazing over.
I get fatigue on this stuff. I really do. I shouldn't. I should be. Yes, this is fun, but I'm not surprised by any of it. You're about to go over details that I'm like, yeah, I knew this was coming.
Yeah.
You talked to people around the league over the course of the last year, and you knew that they couldn't believe they had agreed to what they agreed to last year. They've got another year of it because that's the contract, but they have power. And once this 2-year deal ends, they're going to exert that power and protect themselves moving forward. So Ross's story, while good, I kind of glazed over.
It's more of a summary than anything else because we did know all these in individual parts going into this conversation.
Yeah, and I mean, I suspect he and I both probably know some of the same people, and those people would tell you that, frankly, shit was about to change.
Yes. So, I'm not going to read every paragraph. I'm not going to go over all of it, but we'll try to hit some nuts and bolts here. Basically, everybody's having meetings to finalize all this stuff. You got the SEC and the Big Ten meeting. You got the CFP people meeting. You got the leagues meeting with the TV networks. A lot of meetings going on over the next 4 to 6 weeks. And the SEC and Big Ten contractually hold sole discretion on the future of the college football playoff format starting in 2026. It's a good place to be for them. That is the beginning of the CFP's new 6-year television agreement with ESPN that runs through the 2031. It gives the leagues decision-making power over the format, but then directs them to have, quote, meaningful consultation and collect input from the other conferences for making their decisions. And for the most part, they're being nice. They are going off past results as an indicator. We'll get into that in a second. But we are going to move to a 14 or 16 team model. That is where this thing is
16.
is headed.
Going.
It's going to grant 4 automatic qualifiers each to the SEC and the Big Ten, 2 each to the ACC and the Big 12, and 1 to the highest ranked Group of 5 champion. It will include 1 or 3 at-large spots.
3
would give the Big Ten and SEC probably 5 teams each at that point.
That's where it's headed.
And then one of those intended for Notre Dame, if it finishes ranked inside the top 14, a guarantee specifically designated for the Irish as part of the CFP memorandum. So Notre Dame gets an automatic bid if they're in the top 14 with one of those at-large spots. That is the way that
yes.
That is the way that is going to work.
I should say this. I don't know it's going to 16, but based on conversations, I will be shocked if it does not.
Yeah, I'll buy that. And they're going to ask them to simply seed 1 through 14 or 16 based off the top 25 rankings with no deviations.
Yeah, they're going to minimize the importance of the committee.
Completely, yeah. The committee is basically just ranking 25 teams at this point.
The committee got made fun of a lot, and if you noticed, there wasn't a lot of pushback from the leagues like, oh, no, these are great guys. That was because they were sick of it, too. And I think I do think this, even though it was a made-for-TV event and stuff, I think you're going to see less of that after next season. The big show, the big reveal. Here's where I do. I think there's a lot of people that were turned off by it.
Okay. Says at the very least, the Group of 5 will keep the 1 automatic spot through 2031. Nobody's talking about taking that.
Well, if you go to 16, it's okay. It's when you're 12, it's.
And then that also, just by rule, would include the 5 highest ranked conference champions in the 14 or 16 because that's fine. Whatever. Yeah. He talks about what ESPN's role is, considering they're paying $1.3 billion annually to the CFP at this point. So there is that. Says ESPN executives have expressed to at least some college leaders apprehension about a format that provides such lopsided automatic access. As one power broker put it, you're going to alienate part of the country. No one cares. Everyone's going to watch.
Nope. Which part of the country gets alienated, by the way?
Yeah,
I mean, where
everybody's in.
Where specifically?
I mean, the Big 12 gets 2 spots. ACC gets 2 spots. Who are you?
Yeah,
the West Coast? I mean, okay.
Well,
who's out there? They don't have a league.
Well, they're all in the Big 10. I mean, who's alienated? If USC's really good, they'll get in. Oregon was in. If Washington is really good, they'll get in. I mean, I don't really, in all seriousness, who's alienated? When people say that, like, I always want the guy to push back and go, exactly which area? Alaska?
Yeah.
Who's alienated?
There's not expected to be any new television revenue if the field is expanded to 14, as the figure is included in the memorandum. If the field is expanded to 16, however, it may require negotiations from the leagues for more revenue, hence Neal's comment.
Yep.
A 14-team playoff would feature 2 more first-round games, already clogging television windows during that 3rd week in December when the CFP competes against the NFL. A 16-team bracket would mean an additional 4 games, 8 first-round games instead of 4, because no buys in the 16-team bracket.
Correct.
In the 14-team bracket, the top 2 schools would get buys moving forward, but the 16 would have no buys at that point. This is somewhat interesting in why it's set up, at least as a PR point. I'll stress as a PR point. Since the 2014 playoff, the SEC has had 52 teams ranked inside the top 14. Of the rankings heading into conference championship weekend are about 4.7 teams per year. The Big Ten has had 4.6 teams in that span. The Big 12 at 2.1, ACC 1.8. Notre Dame has made it every other time, basically, something like that. And then Group of 5, whatever it is. That also considers realignment shifts, by the way. Oklahoma counted toward the SEC. Texas counted toward the SEC. So that's in some, again, PR ways, that's why the model is fit as it is, because it matches those standards over the last 10, 11 years.
Yeah.
Somebody did a really nice job figuring that out and putting it in there to make it look very fair and equitable and like everybody should just shut up and move on with their day. Good job. I'm proud of some marketing firm somewhere.
I mean, the truth is they could break the 2 leagues away and do the thing, and it'd be fine. It violates some laws, I'm sure, but at the end of the day, the Big Ten and the SEC have the power, they have the money, and they're going to exert the power. There's the story.
Now we have the situation of 8 plus versus 9 and for the SEC. And this is interesting because forever we thought 9, 9, 9, 9 going to 9. It was done. ADs, coaches, they would tell you 9. And then after the way the playoff went this past year with the picks, everybody went, hey, it better be a lot more money to go to 9 because 8 feels right.
Or there has to be more automatics.
Sure. Yeah.
I think this will lead to a 9-game schedule.
And well, it sounds like you kind of have to because this is this entire process, and it's why 16 makes more sense than 14, as Neal said, is that it's all about maximizing revenue at this point. And that is what all this is.
Sure.
And
well, if you're going to pay the players the amount of money that they're paying them, I don't blame the schools for going, hey, we got to maximize how much money we make.
I know the ESPN had offered about $5 million per team to play an extra game in the conference, go from 8 to 9 for about $5 million.
Yeah.
I know a lot of ADs in the SEC said that's not enough. They wanted closer to 10.
It was about half of what they wanted.
That Dellinger is using the $5 million in this story. I think it will end up being higher than that if they go to 9.
More like 8 or 9.
It's fair. Yeah. If this does happen, by the way, a ninth conference game would set in motion a scheduling agreement with the Big Ten. The scheduling agreement, though still in the discussion stages, will pit SEC and Big Ten teams against one another in annual games that will be sold as a separate television package. So another set of revenue coming in that combination.
Well, and finally, the fans win one here. This is finally the first thing. Hey, after just the fans get screwed forever, and again, that's wild that I become the voice of the fan because I don't go to games as a fan or whatever, but now you'll get more SEC games and you'll get a Big Ten game, which means you're going to get less of those trash games, and they're horrible. Go back and look at Ole Miss's 4 non-con games last year and tell me that there was anything entertaining about that to fans. Not talking about the Grove, and I'm talking about the games. There was nothing entertaining about those games. Nothing.
No.
Nothing. They had no from a hey, I'm gonna go watch a football game in the stadium to watch the football. Those contests had no redeeming value.
They think the SEC Big Ten stuff playing each other could be worth annually well into 8 figures for the leagues to presumably split.
Yes.
At that point, so a little more revenue coming in that way. Said it's all connected. It's a 3-step process. Change the postseason to guarantee spots. Assure the SEC moves to 9 games, and then strike the scheduling agreement. Then you got a 4th step that we talked about at first, and I thought it was wild ideas, but it keeps popping up, which is to remake conference championship weekends. Each power conference would need to establish the way in which they qualify their teams for the automatic berths. In either the multi-AQ playoff proposal, conference championship games likely become less valuable, and a reimagined championship weekend may feature conference play-in games for the automatic berths, something Yahoo Sports reported in December. They're preliminary, but they're happening at the highest levels of conference leadership. Could the SEC and Big Ten, if guaranteed 4 spots, pit their 3rd best team against their 6th and 4th best 5 for play-in games on campus? Would they advance their top 2 seeds automatically into the CFP, or would they even still play a title game, or would they match their top seed against their 8th place finisher? The games could fetch millions more in additional revenue from television partners. Similar conversations being held in the Big 12 and the ACC.
I don't know.
I don't hate the play-in thing. 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5.
To get in.
Yeah. It's just so many games.
So you don't.
Now you're adding a game to
so nobody wins the conference championship?
Just whoever the 1 seed is automatically.
Okay.
They go in as the 1. The runner-up goes in as the 2.
Gotcha.
I don't hate it, but it's another way you're making it more complicated for your teams to win national titles. Just playing more games. You're getting beaten up.
Makes the regular season more important.
1, 2, 3, 6, 4, 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like that. Not playing a conference championship game, playing 3, 6, 4, 5, and giving the 2 best teams the off time and the buys into the playoff.
Where do you play these games? Is it a doubleheader?
They said on campuses.
Oh, on campuses.
Yeah. So this past year, running that math out, do it quickly in my head, it would have been Georgia and Texas going on.
Yeah.
And then then Tennessee would have played South Carolina, and Ole Miss would have played Alabama in playoff games, play-in games.
Yeah.
That's the way it would have worked.
Yeah.
It got numbers.
And potentially one of those teams would have still gotten in with a loss.
They could have gotten an at-large bid.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In theory. Or does the 7 seed suddenly become viable because they don't have that extra loss? I mean, that's where we'll start arguing now is the 7 or the 6,
I'm so excited. I can't wait. Please, let's wish the summer away so we can get to that debate. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Fired up.
You look fired up.
I'm very excited.
Pulse is up. I mean, you're
so can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Yay.
We'll take our final break. We'll tell you about
if I'm Atlanta and I've agreed to a long-term deal with the SEC championship and all the money that brings in, I'm kind of a little pissy about this.
You go, hey, why don't you just bring all 4 of those teams here and let's do a doubleheader?
Well, I mean,
let's play at 3 and 7. How about that?
Yeah. It's exactly what I would be saying.
11 and 7. We'll do a day-night.
Yeah, it's exactly what I'd be saying. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have, if I were Indianapolis and I had this deal with the Big Ten, I would be raising my hand right now going, we've kind of budgeted for this.
Yeah. G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area and they offer MedSync. 3 prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. 1 trip to the pharmacy, 1 delivery. You have everything you need when you need it from G&M. Also easy to transfer those medications. 1 phone call, they take care of the rest. So whether that's Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs or G&M in Oxford, 662-236-2222.
We're brought to you by our friends at Parrish Brewing Company, located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana. Their simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they do it. They do it really well. They have the Dr. Juice. Dr. Juice is in. It's fantastic. ABV of 6%, very drinkable. They've got Envy, Ghost in the Machine, Canebrake, and more. If you're looking for beer, wherever you look for your beer, look for our friends from Parrish Brewing Company. You will not be disappointed. We're also brought to you by Easy Hemp Co. Easy is a hemp-infused sparkling water. It's a guilt-free alcohol alternative, a natural way to relax and unwind. It's all natural, made with real fruit, no added sugar, low-calorie, gluten-free. 1 12-ounce can of Easy has 3 milligrams of THC. With Easy, it's easy to avoid the gummy scare and control your experience. So change the can, not the ritual. It's easy. Visit easyhempco.com to view the Easy Finder to find Easy near you. Easy is Farm Bill compliant with hemp derived from THC and CBD extracts. It's for people 21 and older. Enjoy responsibly. I'll have a mailbag to you on Wednesday. It's brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art Hayes can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email art at Arthur, ARTHUR, .Hayes, HAYS, at Lakes, LAKESMN.com.
Let's see. Looking around a little bit real quick. Did you watch any of the dunk contest or any of that stuff?
No, because I didn't get back from the arena until 9:30 Saturday. I wrote for a while. That was a pretty newsworthy post game as opposed to most post games.
How many of the 5 got questions?
They all got questioned. I'm trying to think who answered. I think they all said something.
Did they?
Yeah. Padula spoke the most. He
took it.
I mean, yeah. I guess he thought my question was fair and went into an answer. There was a lot there.
Headliners.
I'll tell you about it later.
Okay. Headliners for the 2025 Basketball Hall of Fame is Carmelo, Dwight Howard, Sue Bird, and Maya Moore. Those four heading it off. I don't know who else is there. There's more. But
Yeah. Carmelo was really good for a long time.
probably underrated.
Yeah.
No title, and
Terrific player.
I think probably underrated.
Won a title in college as a freshman. Took Syracuse to the title.
I think Billy Donovan's on the list. Sure.
Yeah, he should be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Good. Yeah. No real problem there.
No, should absolutely be a Hall of Famer. 2 national titles at Florida. Took Oklahoma City to the Western Conference Finals. Been a coach in the NBA for a long time. Highly respected.
When was he in Oklahoma City?
His first year was Durant's last.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, Carmelo's special. Great player. Great player. Generational talent offensively.
They won the title in college? Syracuse won?
Yes. Yes.
Because that was the Final Four. Dwayne Wade was with Marquette there, I think.
I don't remember.
Is that the same group?
I don't recall.
Okay.
I covered the Sweet 16 game.
You did.
Thank God.
Auburn got to go home.
Thank God.
Is that as simple as Pearl taking over the program there? I mean, you covered them for a long time. What's allowed them to become
Bruce.
this relevant of a
Bruce.
Yeah, not team, not what program.
I mean, Auburn's won before.
Yeah,
I mean, they won with Sonny Smith. I don't know if Sonny's still with us or not. Great human being. Awesome guy. They won with Cliff Ellis.
Oh, Cliff Ellis.
I covered Cliff.
He went to Coastal for a while, right?
He did.
Okay.
Interesting person. But yeah.
He's the guy that touched you or he grabbed you or whatever he did.
He grabbed me.
Grabbed your neck.
At Bud Walton. Yep. That was an interesting moment. That could have gone sideways.
Is that the only time you've been touched by a coach?
Yes.
In not a hand pat kind of way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Like 1 second, 2 second, 3 second? Like
about 2 seconds.
3 or 4 would have been a problematic.
We were approaching problem.
Okay.
Yeah, that was.
What was he mad about?
Something I'd said on a radio
Chris
show.
Porter related?
It was during the Porter time. Yeah, so it was something along those lines. It was. Yeah, I want to say the game at Bud Walton was the regular season finale.
Okay.
I think they lost. I don't remember. This was before I became a big Arkansas booster. But he was not happy with something I'd said on a radio show.
Really?
Mickey Plyler's show in South Carolina. He was not happy.
How the hell did he even?
Because his daughter lived out there.
That's how he found out?
Yes.
That has a lot of my freshman told me energy that's actually real right there. Like that's a.
Well, I mean, Danny Nutt kind of was a freshman.
Okay.
If you think about it.
Fair.
Yeah. But anyway, no, the answer to your question.
Sorry.
They lost with other coaches. I mean, Jeff Lebo didn't win there. Other guys didn't win there. Lost spectacularly, in fact. They built the arena. That helped. I don't think the arena. I just think Bruce won. I just think Bruce Pearl's a difference maker. He's won everywhere he's ever been. I just think he's that good. Dynamic recruiter, talent evaluator, gets kids to play hard. I just think he's an elite coach.
If I'm giving you a new program, would you rather have Oates or Pearl?
I mean, I think Nate's terrific. I'm just a Pearl guy.
Okay.
So I'm almost biased.
Okay.
I like Bruce personally. I just think he's really, really good. I think Nate Oates is really, really good. I mean, losing to Auburn at home is not some shameful thing. I mean, the people that are like, oh, my God, come on. Alabama's still very much a Final Four caliber team.
Season doesn't end.
They're not as good as Auburn. But again, I mean,
matchups and stuff.
Most teams aren't. Auburn's lost 2 games. They lost at Duke and to Florida. two teams that are national title contenders. Duke could win the national title, and Florida could absolutely win the national title.
Ole Miss at 8-5 still would be the 7 seed in the SEC basketball tournament as of today. They have a 1.5 lead on Kentucky and Mississippi State for that 7 seed. So State would be the last team that doesn't play the first night.
So as of now, Ole Miss would not play on Wednesday.
That is correct. Ole Miss would be the 7 seed, waiting on whatever that bracket says. Then the next day.
Okay.
So I guess the 10-15 game. Is that right? Yeah, 10-15 game. Okay. Doing the math in my head.
Okay.
So they would play the Vanderbilt LSU winner on day 2 as of today.
Okay.
Ole Miss will be the 7, Kentucky the 8, and State the 9. Again, a 1.5 lead with Ole Miss going into a bye week here in the midweek at 8-5. Your games on opening night would be Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Tennessee, LSU. Or maybe I misdid that. Anyway, the teams playing on opening night: Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Arkansas, Georgia, Oklahoma, LSU, South Carolina.
Oh. That would have to be considered disappointing for Tennessee.
No, Texas. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
No, Tennessee's the damn 6th seed right now.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad. Lord. Yeah. Ole Miss and Tennessee are actually tied in the conference standings at the moment. Now, Ole Miss has a much tougher close. They still have Auburn and Florida.
And Tennessee.
But you get to win that one. I mean, that's different. But, yeah, as of today, Auburn 1, Alabama 2, Florida 3, A&M 4, Missouri 5. Wow, the job he's done.
Great.
Tennessee 6, Ole Miss 7, Kentucky 8, State 9, Vanderbilt 10.
Okay.
And in that projected or where they were sitting as of now, that had Tennessee a 1 or a 2 seed, and they are ranked 6th in the SEC, and they're a 2 seed.
Yeah. Tennessee's net still somewhere. Tennessee's was a 4 net yesterday.
Were they really?
Yeah. The nets are Auburn 1, Tennessee 4, Florida 5, Alabama 6, Texas A&M 13, Kentucky 17. Is this right? I don't know if that's right or not.
It's fine.
It doesn't matter. A whole bunch of teams are making it.
Yeah. And yes, in the stream, Ole Miss had a good crowd in Dallas. I mean, they have a big alumni base in Dallas over the weekend. I mean, they were clearly the second most represented fan base behind, Texas's thousands that were in the stadium for all of the 3 Longhorn games. So, yeah, not
Texas probably has a pretty big alumni base in Dallas, too.
I'm assuming there's some Longhorns in the Dallas, in the Metroplex area.
Truth is, in the Metroplex, there's big alumni bases for damn near everyone.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, fair. Penn State probably has a big, in fact, I know they do, like a big alumni club in Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas is a big city.
It was Texas 1, Ole Miss 2. Clemson was closer to Oklahoma State than I would have expected. They were there 3-4, Louisville 5, and then Arizona had some people.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the way that worked out. So, all right, we will look more at the games for the week tomorrow. I'm sure some more football stuff will pop, and then we'll see what the weather brings as far as the baseball home opener tomorrow, Arkansas State. So, hope all of you enjoy this President's Day. Take care. Have a good time, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.